Schwab would repeatedly tell her family that her boyfriend Chad was going to kill her and bury her in the backyard. But for some reason, she refused to leave. It would turn out that Heather would be right about one prediction and slightly off about the other. Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. Truly, truly is. Before we get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so because it really helps me out and I really, really appreciate it. 35-year-old Heather Schwab was described by her family as a daughter, sister, and a mother of two. Heather also struggled with addiction, and because of this, her family believed that it would be best for them to cut all ties with her. Her mother, Tamara, was never truly far away, though. She instead chose to love her daughter from afar, and she would have a neighbor of Heather's keep in touch with her about Heather's well-being. In 2022, Heather was dating 42-year-old Chad Stevens. All right, so let's talk about Chad. Chad Stevens is no stranger to police, as he has been in and out of prison multiple times with charges ranging from causing serious bodily harm, criminal mischief, failure to appear, and parole violations, with his last time being arrested in 2022. June 28th, 2023, after not hearing from Heather for a year, her mother Tamara goes to police to file a missing persons report. This would take place after the neighbor that was reporting to Tamara told her that she hadn't seen Heather in several months. Tamara tells police about the ABUSE between Heather and Chad and how Chad threatened to bury her in the backyard, going on to say that she believes Chad had killed her daughter, but she was unable to provide proof of this. So Detective Monte Robertson would end up launching an investigation based on the information told to him by Tamara. Robertson was unable to find any potential phone numbers or social media accounts belonging to Heather. He was unable to locate any friends that may have spoken to Heather that could provide them with a timeline of when she was last seen alive. And Robertson then interviewed Chad Stevens, who told him that Heather left him around a year ago and that he hasn't heard from her and he didn't know her whereabouts, going on to tell him that if he hears anything from Heather, that he will let him know. Well, isn't that just lovely of you? The case would end up going cold until Chad's ex-wife, Alicia, places a call to Tamara telling her that she believes that Chad has killed her daughter, Heather, and buried her in the backyard. Going on to tell Tamara that she came to this conclusion based on a conversation that her daughter had with Chad the night before. Alicia and Chad share a daughter by the name Brianna, and she had called her father, whom she rarely speaks to tell him that she was pregnant. So I don't know what Brianna's age or situation is or was at the time, but she says that her father told her that she better get rid of that baby, telling her that if she didn't get rid of the baby, he was going to kill her and the baby. Can't. What the actual fuck is wrong with people? So, after he tells her this, Brianna advises her father that he shouldn't make threatening statements like that because people may take him seriously. To which he replies, "I am serious." Brianna then advises her father to watch what he says because his girlfriend is missing. To which Chad responds, "Oh, so you think I killed her?" He then began to ask Brianna a bunch of random questions about his backyard being dug up. He told her that he researched it, and Brianna says she has no idea what the hell he's talking about. Going on to tell Brianna that he researched it, and if he did kill Heather, that he would only get 5 years in prison for hiding the body.
Are you stupid or something?
So I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I am going to say that Chad Stevens needs to do better research moving forward.
I am the one, the way you're
Then he asks Brianna how she knew that Heather was in the backyard, to which she replies that she has no knowledge of this. And Chad sarcastically says, "Oh yeah, I did that." So I'm guessing that this raised enough red flags, as it should. And Brianna told her mother, who relayed this information to Heather's mother. November 8th, 2023, detectives reached out to another one of Chad's ex-girlfriends, a woman by the name of Caitlin. Caitlin tells police that she met Chad in June of 2022 at Lucky's game room. She says the two exchanged numbers and kept in touch as friends until September of that year, when the two started a relationship and began living together. January 1st, 2023, Caitlin tells Chad that the relationship is over. October, November. So, what, 3.5 months or so? Chad locks the door and he refuses to let her leave until they talk. She says that after the conversation, she tried to break a window to get out of the house, and that's when Chad grabbed her, threw her into the chair, but thankfully she was able to get away fairly unscathed. November 12th, 2023, Chad Stevens was detained for the assault based on the statement given to them by Caitlin. So while Chad is in jail, police execute a search warrant for the home. During the search, police find that the sole entrance to the kitchen is closed off by sheetrock. Once they get inside the kitchen, they find the refrigerator and they see that it's wrapped in copious amounts of plastic wrap. It's when they open up the fridge that they find the body of Heather Schwab. When Chad is questioned by police, he tells them that he placed Heather in the refrigerator after she died at the home on July 26, 2022, and he didn't know what to do with her. I mean, I can think of a few things that you could have done. Putting her in a refrigerator would not be at the top of my list, though. That's just me. However, officers believe that Heather likely died on or after August 17th, 2022. And the reason for this is because of a 911 call made that day regarding Chad and who they believe to be Heather. The call was made regarding DV, telling 911 that there was a lot of screaming and a female was waving a firearm. Then, during the interview with police, Chad makes several damning and disturbing statements. Statements that include threatening to kill Heather on several occasions, thinking about carrying out the threat on several occasions. Then he says that on occasion, Heather would request for them to have rough sex together. And he says that during the sex, he would choke Heather. Going on to say that sometimes he would her so hard that the veins would protrude from her neck. He tells officers that he's trying to remember all the details, but he believes that Heather fell and hit her head in the shower 3 days before she died. And lastly tells them that he didn't want Heather to look bad. So, no cause of death has been released yet, but I have this funny feeling that the sex and the shower are Chad setting up some kind of defense. It's just a hunch that I have, but I suppose time will tell. The warrant clearly states that officers do not believe that Chad is being completely forthcoming with them, which, I mean, Stevie Wonder could have seen that. Following this interview, Chad was arrested for tampering with evidence, and then after the arrest, neighbors of Chad Stevens began talking. One neighbor said that a few months ago there was a woman that would follow Chad around, saying that whatever he did, she did, and that she was always around. Then a couple months after that, she just disappeared and they just stopped seeing her, saying that she just assumed they broke up. One neighbor said that Chad was always up, saying that anytime he left the house, went out, or came home, Chad was always outside of the residence doing stuff around the yard. A third neighbor spoke to news channels. This is all news channels. A third neighbor spoke to news channels about Chad's eccentric behavior, stating that he didn't acknowledge many people and that his windows were covered in plastic. So that's all that's really known so far, or released as of now. But if there's a trial and if it is public, I will definitely be covering it. So please subscribe and turn on notifications for this channel. All right, guys, if you're still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you so, so, so very much. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't yet. And until next time, stay safe out there.